Black Sky Radio.
We were just telling everybody that you are, I read the quote off of your page from Tom Ridge and how unflappable you are and how you're just, the work that you're doing is top shelf. It's amazing, and we couldn't be more proud to have somebody like you representing everything that is World War II and the Allied front. I mean, it's absolutely astonishing how much you can get done as a one-man band.
It's not easy. I'll tell you that much. It's an uphill slog, and you need to surround yourself with a lot of good people who care about what you care about. And fortunately, we've been able to form a pretty good group of people who care, really are as passionate as I am about this, and they've all been a huge help.
It's phenomenal, because we haven't talked since before you actually got the statue in place in Normandy. Tell me about that ceremony and all that entailed.
It was amazing. Everything came together, and it was one of those days where it looked like a scene from The Longest Day. The sky was just that kind of color, like it was in The Longest Day, and you expected rain any second. And I just kept looking up at the sky during the monument dedication and saying, "It's going to pour, and we're all going to get soaked." And when I said my last word, which was "Thank you for coming," it started to pour. And that was the point where I said, I think the major's up there pulling some strings for us, and just said, let them finish the ceremony and then it can rain. And but we had over 1,000 people there, and they closed down the road, and it went as well as it possibly could have, and it was just it was great to have so many people from all across the world there, and so many people from France who helped make it a reality. And Governor Ridge there, the former Secretary of Homeland Security, that was amazing. We had the commanding general of the 101st Airborne Division there to speak, and it was just one of those surreal days. I kind of looked at my wife after and said, I just can't believe we did this, and it's going to be there for forever, and it's going to recognize the men it should recognize in the place it should be, the only, and I underline only place Major Winters wanted it to be, which was in Normandy, and that all came together.
That to honor the man who denied so many honors himself, and having this put down forever, it's just heartwarming. I mean, it's something that I know that he frowned on when it first got started. He's like, I don't think we need to do that, and everyone's like,
no.
Oh, yeah, we do.
No, we went about it the right way. We approached Major Winters through his best friends, Herm and Rosemary Clemens from Pennsylvania, and we said, we're going to leave this up to the family. We're going to leave this up to Major Winters. If he wants it done, great. If not, we're not going to do it. And he made some stipulations. He said, I will agree to this, which floored us because we thought, no, he's not going to do it. I will agree to this if this is the only monument that you do, and it's in France, and it recognizes all Americans, all the American junior officers who led the way on D-Day. So he laid out several stipulations that we all agreed to, and he said, okay, well, let's go ahead and do it. So I had contact with his wife, Ethel, and we made the promise to her that this would be it. And unfortunately, and I have to mention, there's an effort underway to make a replica of the monument in Pennsylvania, which is something the Winters family is against, something the Major was against, and something his late wife also was against, and something the World War II Foundation is against, because it's breaking a promise to a man who is so honorable. But once Major Winters passed away, and once his wife passed away, all bets were off the table, and some people decided they were going to proceed against his wishes, and unfortunately that's happening. But it does not take away in any way from what is in Normandy, because it's where it should be, and it's a beautiful monument.
Now, this year, the end of the 70th anniversary of the end of the war in Normandy, you guys are putting on a big spread again. You got a lot of the cast members from Band of Brothers coming over. Tell me about what you got planned for this year. Now, this year, the 70th anniversary of the end of the war in Normandy. You guys are putting on a big spread again. You got a lot of the cast members from Band of Brothers coming over. Tell me about what you got planned for this year's June celebration.
Well, we had 9 actors come in last year. All great guys. I mean, just the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. And then that last day, I was in the hotel, basically on the phone with Damian Lewis's assistant most of that day. And Damian was trying to see if he could come. And I didn't know that night until about that morning, actually, about 12:15 in the morning, that Damian was going to hop on a train and come down with his kids. And nobody knew. I mean, maybe, Ross knew, and maybe a couple other people, Jack Beckett from War History Online, and some of the actors knew, but Damian came in and we put him up at Breakor Manor. And we asked the owner of Breakor Manor, Charles de Vallivier, who also owns the Utah Beach Museum, I said, would you mind if Damian Lewis stayed with you at Breakor? And he just smiled. I mean, he's like, this is the guy who played Dick Winter, staying in Breakor Manor, walking the field for the first time, seeing where the guns are and were and everything else. And it was just, we went over and spent time with Damian there, and he was loving every minute of it, and so was Charles. And Eric, who you'll have on a little bit later, translated, because Charles really doesn't speak English, but the guys who came in, Jimmy Matteo, Ross McCall, and Robin Lang, and Shane Taylor, and Ben Kaplan, and everybody who came in, I'm missing a few of the guys, it was great. Then we thought, hey, you know what? There's an opportunity here, because it's the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, to do one more event. And all of a sudden, other guys started, getting involved. Frank John Hughes, who played Bill Garnier, and Rick Gomez, who played George Luz, and Scott Grimes, who played Don Malarkey, and others started calling and getting in touch with us through the other actors and saying, we want to be there for this. And we said, sure. It'll make it something special, because it is the last one. It's great to have you guys here. You guys are rock stars over there. And it's also huge for our foundation. We're a nonprofit foundation, and people love the actors. They love spending time with the actors, and the actors love spending time with their fans and the veterans who will be there. So everything has just come together where it's become our biggest fundraiser of the year, and keeps us moving forward. And I can't thank the actors enough for their generosity and their time, and they're fun guys. They really are. And Ross knows this. They took those roles very seriously. These were life-changing roles for them, not only for their career, but playing somebody like a World War II veteran. I mean, you look at Frank John Hughes, he got Bill Garnier's mannerisms down, they became close. Actors seldom get those kind of roles where they can portray people who were the embodiment of what, the world represents in that generation and everything else. And so it was much more than just putting on makeup and a uniform. I mean, Jimmy Matteo got to know Frank Perconti so well, and was crushed when he passed away. And Robin was upset. Robin Lang was when Babe passed away. I mean, these are the relationships that these guys have. And I should also mention, Nick Aaron came last year, and I have to mention Nick because Nick always says, I'm bringing sexy back. He steals a little bit of Justin Timberlake's thunder there, but one night at the after party, he got up and he just said, I'm really, really sexy. And we all said, we looked at him and said, yep, Nick, you are. And you're a sexy man. So Nick wants to come back this year, and he said he's bringing the sexy back. So everywhere. But we're really excited. I mean, our guest of honor at the events in Normandy is a second ranger who climbed Pointe du Hoc on D-Day, a guy by the name of George Klein. And George will be, he's one of the few living second rangers who went up the cliff and fought there the duration before he was wounded. So he's our guest of honor at the big events on June 5th and 6th. And we have some smaller signing events as well in Bayeux, at the Hotel Villa Laura, and then again at the Utah Beach Museum on June 7th. And the actors will also lay a wreath at the Richard Winters Leadership Monument on the morning of June 7th. So, people can go to our website, and which is wwiifoundation.org, and under events, you buy tickets to the event. We're going to be sold out, probably within the next couple of weeks. But we're gonna try and get a few more people in, and be great food, great drink, and conversation with Ross Owen. So,
well, as much as a conversation with him can be two-sided, yeah. Well, I don't think I've told either one of you guys that since I last talked to you guys or anything about the Band of Brothers and World War II, my uncle has who was the tank commander in the European theater as well as North Africa. He came in day 2 of D-Day. He wasn't in the initial invasion, but he was shipped out with the heavy artillery the next day, and he was. And I just literally an hour ago noticed that I never looked what date it was that he got injured in combat, because he got a throat full of shrapnel when the top of his tank got blowed up. He had a lieutenant who thought his pants were bigger than my uncle's. So the lieutenant was riding in the turret, and it got hit in the turret with a shell, and somebody yelled "look out," and he thought he said "look up," so he caught a neck full of shrapnel. But that day was the last day of fighting the Battle of the Bulge, January 25th, 1945.
Wow.
And
interesting.
So the guys, when you see the Bastogne scene and the tanks and all that stuff, I'm going to pretend that my uncle is in one of them, because that's where he was.
Well, he's a tough guy for being in a tank. If you saw the movie Fury, you know those guys. That's not one place where you want to be when you get hit.
Oh, no. And I got a story that he did tell me about Bastogne when I was a kid, and I didn't put any of this together until much later in life. None of the guys that were in the tanks slept in them in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Because it would get below freezing, and you would literally stick to the tank if you had any exposed skin. So they all slept on the ground underneath the tank or next to it, and amazingly enough, a lot of guys got run over because they were sleeping in their bivouacs next to the tank, and they just got smashed.
Amazing. There's so many amazing stories, and you're going to have Pee Wee Martin on, and Pee Wee is just, he's one of the best. And, you talk about, Pee Wee's 93, 94 now, still chops wood, I mean, Brokaw can call them greatest generation, but I would say they're the toughest generation. I mean, these guys are just, they're my heroes, they're your heroes, when you really read about what they do and everything, then they'll become your heroes too. And we'll have several World War II veterans at the event. We always do, and the actors love meeting them, and the fans always like the ability to meet both the actors and the actual guys who are there. And so we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be it, and we're expecting probably anywhere from 18 to 22 actors right now. We're still waiting on a couple of other guys, and we're going to keep them busy, but they know that. And it's going to be great. You're going to be walking around. People are going to be walking around Normandy, and they're going to see James Matteo. They're going to recognize him, and they're going to see Ross McCall, and they're going to see Robin, and everybody else. And right away, the people who are there for D-Day week think, they know these guys right away. It's Babe, it's Perconti, it's Wild Bill, and Ross saw it last year when he was there. These guys walk around, and it's like, oh my God,
it's incredible.
For the fans. I mean, in Carentan, they went to Carentan, and people were recognizing them right away. I mean, that's how big Band of Brothers is, and World War II is in Europe. Not so much over here in the States, unfortunately. Not on the level that it is in Europe. So
right.
when people come to these events in Normandy, it's just people leave and just say, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's this big and this popular." So there's still some tickets left, guys, and I know you got to talk to a lot of people today, but you're going to talk to some great people. And again, all these people like Ross and everybody else, Ross Owen and Jack Beckett and Eric and people over Normandy, Paul Whittage, and all these people become your extended family because they all have this same desire to carry on the legacy of these men and preserve their stories.
Well, Tim, we can only thank you for what you do. I mean, all of us are deeply appreciative of what you do, and long may it continue.
Right.
Oh, well, we all joke around a lot, and we all have a great time. And you're going to have George Luz Jr. on later, and Chris Langlois. But without people like Ross Owen to help coordinate this, and Jack Beckett and everybody else, it just doesn't Ross and my Jack and are my European contacts. They're my European go-to guys over there, and without them, this doesn't get done. And it's just a pleasure and an honor to know these guys and become friends with them.
Ditto. It's an absolute pleasure to be involved, and it's an absolute honour. And I look forward to seeing you in June.
Yes, absolutely. I can't thank you guys enough. And we're going to do it for the final time, and we're going to make it a really, really big party for everybody in Normandy. So we're excited.
I got to ask you, what's next after June? What are you going to be working on after this last hurrah in Normandy?
Well, we have. It's been busy. We just finished our 12th film. We've got 4 more we're working on this year, and 4 more we're working on for next year. And we're finishing up a film we did with the Doolittle Raiders, the surviving members of the Doolittle Raiders. And then we're doing another film we just shot in Luxembourg. And then we're going to do actually a documentary on George Klein while we're over in Normandy for the 2nd Rangers. And we just have a lot of projects, so we just got to find a lot of support and a lot of funding for these projects. And so many people step up. 99 people will say no or not get back to you, and then somebody gets back to you, like a Fred Smith, the CEO of FedEx, and helps out, or HBO, or other people. There's someone pops up just when you lose hope that people don't care about preserving the history of what these men and women did. Somebody comes out of the woodwork, and they step up and they keep our mission moving forward. And so we're averaging about 4 films a year right now, which is a really, really backbreaking and incredible pace, because usually it takes anywhere from a year to 5 years to work on a documentary. Because we're losing 700 of these guys every day, we've picked up the pace where we need to get to them now. And the short answer is we're busy, and it's just a labor of love.
You're doing God's work, man. It's immeasurably important.
I appreciate that, and I think it's just a lot of these men are at the point now where they're willing to share their stories when they're 90 years old, or 92, or 94, and they're there. They want to share them many times, but they don't want to volunteer. They want to be asked,
right?
Because that's just how they are. So we're just trying to get to as many as possible now to make sure, because in 10 years, and everything we are today, not only here, but across the globe in all the free countries, is because of what these guys did. And it's not often you can say you were part of a generation that saved the world. And everything that they stand for, is just incredible. I mean, they are not the selfie generation. They are not the look at me generation. They are the generation who did a job, came home, and rebuilt America and rebuilt the world. And that is pretty incredible when you get the chance to interact with a group of people who actually get to say that. And it's life-changing.
Absolutely. And so is your work, by the way. Keep it up.
Thank you, guys.
Black Sky Radio.